Good morning, YouTube. It has gotten a little cold down here in Robeson County, North Carolina this morning. Started last night. Wind started whipping. All kinds of things. My 70-pound lapdog decided he needed to cuddle between me and Mama, and that made for an interesting night of getting squished. But anyhow, he's a good pup. Y'all know him as Rebel Dog. But I opened the windows last night. Yeah, I'm crazy like that. I like good cold air in the bedroom at night. A little high. That's just how I like it in the wintertime. When I was a little boy, my daddy had opened the windows in his and Mama's bedroom, and I kind of walk in there in the morning like, oh yeah, that feels pretty good. So I started doing it. Makes me want to stay under the covers in the morning now. But when you get up, you get moving. You know, it eventually kind of helps keep your blood flowing a little bit, I guess. But anyway, folks, my last day of work until the new year. Is where I work at. Campus will be closed tomorrow through the 6th of January. Awesome! Best part-time job I've ever had. So, I hope everybody's having a great and wonderful day though so far. We're trying to get ready for the Christmas festivities at our place. And got to mail some stuff out today and tomorrow to some others. To the winner from the other night's drawing on the Georgia Shoe Connection, Andre. Told you I'd get that package out Monday. My delivery person, i.e. Mrs. Old Soldier, forgot, but she's putting it in the mail today. So if you're watching this by chance, your books are coming in the mail today, my friend. My apologies for not getting them out when I said they would, but they are going out today. But, oh cow, there's just clouds off in the distance, folks, I'm looking at, and they're that dark, snowy gray, and I'm just looking at them off to the east. It's like, holy cow, but it's not quite cold enough here to snow, but it almost looks like the wall from the Game of Thrones in the distance. If you ever watch Game of Thrones and they have that big ice wall, this is what it looks like in the distance. If I wasn't driving, I'd pull the camera up and show you this thing, but it just looks like it's one massive ice wall off to my eastern viewpoint. But I'm headed south right now. Like, holy cow. I should have had my Nikon camera out and got a picture of that. Picture. But anywho, I digress. Like I said though, we're getting ready for the Christmas holidays. So as we gather this time of year, folks, and we're getting ready for our travels, things of that nature, please remember our men and women in uniform that won't be home this year for Christmas. Likewise, men and women who service in our communities, law enforcement, emergency management personnel, firefighters, those that are going to be working on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, are going to be away from their families. Just remember them and their families. Pray for them. Keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Nobody ever wants to be away from home this time of year, I think. There's always somebody people want to be near to. So. But in other news, the tension in Virginia seems to continue to grow between the governor and the state legislature with the people. i.e. the state legislature, in conjunction with or cahoots with the governor really contemplating their next move, and they're really pushing some buttons out that way. I forget the channel I was watching yesterday. There's supposed to be a 2A rally that's being planned for Richmond, I think. I want to say I saw it was Richmond. I have to go and look. Get back to you on that one. But folks, this stuff going on in Virginia, again, like I talked about yesterday, it's a dangerous precedent. If the Virginia legislature, in cahoots with their governor, even passes a tenth of what they've got on their bills to pass, it's just going to be ridiculous for Virginia gun owners. Maybe not so much for the current gun owners in a sense, but for all new future purchases, the effects, the rules, just keep an eye on that. Support where you can and how you can. Now, I don't have the answer to that. You're going to have to search that yourself. If it means taking a day off and driving to one of those Virginia counties where they're going to have a protest and participate, by all means. If it means whatever. Then we've got the impeachment scandal going on. Yeah, I call it a scandal because it's scandalous that one party is the one pushing this whole thing. Historically, the other two times impeachment was brought up, can't really say with Nixon, because Nixon resigned before they could impeach him. But for Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton, both sides, both political parties were in agreement that it needed to go through. Now, of course, Bill Clinton's, if memory serves me correct, it was basically dead on arrival to Senate. There was no Senate trial. I have to go back and look at that, but we all know he didn't get removed from office. That one, you can argue he needed to be impeached for what he did, and you can argue that it was trivial. In this day and age, adultery and lying to the people, that seems to be a common norm of politicians. They get caught, oh, forgive me, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, blah-da-blah-da-blah-da-blah-da. That's the other thing, the ilk of politicians that we put into office these days. Again, I was only a handful that I'd even trust to polish my shoes, let alone venture to do anything to support the people. But long story short is that it has become more and more commonplace for our politicians this day and age to stay in office after they've been caught in a scandal. Then there used to be a time, well, they got me, I'll just step out of office and you won't hear from me again, or for several years. Of course, I'm in favor of you get caught once, it should be the end of your political career, period. Because here we go, I want to say it was a senator from North Carolina that got, and to me, what he did was despicable. Had an affair on his wife, had a child out of wedlock, John Edwards. While his wife was dying from cancer. Yeah, the whole affair thing I don't condone, but I'm not going to condemn the man either. We all have temptations. He gave in to his. I guess what I'm going to hammer him on is the fact that he tried to lie about it, tried to cover it up. It came out, and then, all of a sudden, he's got his wife up there dying with cancer, and he just, I don't know. That one just didn't sit well with me. That one kind of curdled my stomach when that one came out. This whole impeachment thing is just one big witch hunt. I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. I've never liked Donald Trump. I'm not a never Trumper. I like some of what he's doing for our economy. I think he is doing his best to bolster our defense policy. There's a crowd out there that don't like him because they think he's anti-Second Amendment. And he has his views on the Second Amendment have swayed. One minute he'll say one thing, and the next minute he'll say another. Then you got the crowd that said, well, under Barack Obama's administration, we were all afraid that these things didn't happen. It would have had that been his priority, I'm afraid. But passing that omnibus, make everybody go broke, collapse the economy bill known as the Affordable Health Care Act was his priority. And I think he used all his political clout getting that passed. Looking back in retrospect, he put all his political clout into that particular measure. That was, I guess, supposed to be his set piece legacy, if you will. And I'm guessing in his own mind, he thought after that passed, everything else, they would just support him and follow suit. Problem was, the American voter contacted their congressman, their senator, and said, hey, this thing ain't what y'all said it was supposed to be. Yeah, I'm going to go broke trying to pay for this. My business is going to go out of business trying to pay for this. I'm going to have to fire employees. You know, people have worked for me for 20 years because of this. And it backfired atrociously. And I think he lost a lot of his political clout, not only with independents, but with his own party when it comes to supporting big measures. That was why I think, you know, he was forced to use executive decisions that are easily overturned by the next incoming president. Now you're saying to yourself, well, why is all this important? What's going on now? It's simple, because it's the same group of people that are trying to convict our sitting president on some BS. But again, back to the whole thing, I don't like, never have liked Donald Trump. And that's more as a person than anything else. I just don't care for his mannerisms. It's just not the way I was brought up. I respect him as a businessman. But, you know, during his campaign, he made comments about people that I did not care for. I'm not a big fan of John McCain, but the man did spend 5 years in a fairly brutal POW camp. You know, all that aside, our economy is doing much better. There's jobs to be had. People got more money in their pocket. Where I'm working at and teaching, you know, we've got industry coming to our school wanting to know, hey, how many of y'all got getting ready to graduate? We need people. And when I say industry, I'm talking about manufacturing plants, trades, you know, electrical companies, HVAC companies, needing electricians, HVAC technicians, industrial maintenance technicians. Now, there's the argument out there that the last administrations want to create all these jobs, and there's a party out there that I kind of believe the current president's one that has created these jobs. Yeah, did some of Barack Obama's policies have some play in the current economy? Maybe slightly. Because as far as any of his economic decisions went, they were all abysmal failures. You know, $500 million to Solyndra, and nobody can account for where that money went, other than here, Solyndra, $500 million, make your solar panels work. already in bankruptcy, Mr. President. Well, that's okay. My wife went to school with your wife, so it's good. Okay, we'll take your money. Especially when you got to pay it back. A few months later. Slindra, how you doing? Well, we closed our doors. We went out of business because nobody wanted to buy our stuff because whatever reason. And I forget how much money was dropped off on a pallet out of the back of an Air Force cargo plane in Iran. But it wasn't no small amount. Why did that be, dropped off in the middle of the night and in cash? Somebody answer that one for me, folks. Chirp, 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 chirp. But yet, they're going to go after the current sitting president for some really measly crap that, there's no evidence. And the witnesses, even during the hearings, never brought concrete evidence of any of the charges that the president be charged with. This is where it's a witch hunt. Even the whistleblower's testimony indicated that he did not directly hear the conversation. It was through hearsay. And then the fact that allow hearsay evidence in a congressional hearing to impeach the president, whereas in any other court of law, hearsay evidence is normally what? Thrown out. I.e. witch hunt. But what the left does not know right now is that they're sealing their fate. Now you've also got a representative from New Jersey that's switching parties. That's a little minor note to this whole thing. I think he stuck his finger in the wind and saw which way the wind was blowing and realized, I need to get on the right side of this thing. And, come next November at the ballot box, we'll see if it comes to fruition as far as these so-called House seats that are in jeopardy based on how they're voting in this election or pushing this impeachment process. So it's a topsy-turvy mess, folks. It really is. And the sad part is, like I said and said again, is the American people are suffering because of the ineptitude, the petty childishness, the vindictiveness of the swamp rats in Washington, D.C. Here's the thing. There are Republicans that are not coming out and supporting the president on this thing. Even though this impeachment is pretty much divided along party lines, there's some Republicans that are stepping back and just not getting involved like they ought to. I'm not happy with them, but they're not in my state, so can't really do much about that. But only time will tell, folks. Only time will tell. But hopefully the trial will last about a day. The Senate will convene, hear the witnesses, make the ruling, and send it on its merry way. Because I'm going to tell you, this whole thing, all this. Here's the thing, if this gets to trial next year, which is what they're saying, and they convict him remotely based on this little bit of crap evidence that's been presented that's not even evidence, then it'll truly prove that the deep state is in full control, and then more drastic measures on our part will be needed. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs and cats, mice and men, exercise your political clout at the ballot box until further notice, I guess. But I would say after this election, if things don't go the way they ought to go, then I don't know. maybe more drastic measures on our part need to be taken. Oh my goodness, you're inciting a rebellion. No, it's not what I'm saying. But the first thing we can stop doing is stop paying taxes. Why should I give them my money if they're not going to use it what it's supposed to be used for? That's a crime. That's a crime. Yeah, it's a crime. I'm not telling anybody not to pay their taxes. I'm just saying that's something people could choose to do if Congress don't get their head out of their rear ends and start functioning what they were elected to do. All right, folks, let me get off here. I have tied up too much of your time this morning. Kind of rambled more than I've talked on point on any given thing today. But anyway, keep your eye on the prize, folks. You got the 2020 election. Keep your eye on what's going on in Virginia, because the next state that's going to be in dire effect is going to be North Carolina, where I live. I'm almost positive of it. That's their next target, because we have a strong 2A community in this state. That's just my opinion again. But anyway, folks, y'all take care of yourself today. Stay warm, stay safe. God bless. Remember, charities, I'd ask you to help out if you can. ThoughtsOfAnOldSoldier.org. Folds of Honor. Pin Up for Vets. Ballot for Veterans. You can't do it by themselves. Vendors, I'd ask you to help out Money Quick Pawn on Rayford Road, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Robert's Custom Woodwork closed until 2 January. Unsung Patriot. And like I said, if you like my poetry I read on Monday night and you haven't got my books yet, they're available on Amazon. And if you like my t-shirt, anyway, those are also available on my Teespring site below. So all the links are somewhere down in the description down there. If you go to my home YouTube page thing, they'll be there as well. And if I can figure out how to create one of those things that pop up here somewhere when I'm talking, instead of my hand doing all this crazy stuff to blind you, I'll try to learn how to put those up there so you can see the links as well. But until tomorrow, my friends, stay safe, stay warm, stay fed, stay happy. God bless. Take care. Old Soldier out.